ABOMINATION. A Vox in the Void. Amazing channel with wonderful voice acting. Great stories. Please subscribe to them. Check them out. Watch their videos. Support them. I almost cried when we were watching their video last time. So I don't know if this one is sad or it's just, you know, like it always brings some emotions out. So let's see which one this one will bring.
The air was thick with orange smog, rising from the uncountable choked lungs of the forge machine. Millions trudged along the main throughway, dragging heavy bionics that malfunctioned and sputtered along the soot-stained road. They passed beneath vast archways that creaked under the weight of ceremonial cogs and the red banners of ancient Mars. Huge, loud hailers droned the Credo Omnissiah on repeat, drowning out the sound of shuffling feet and the thousand groans of failing flesh. There is no truth in flesh, only betrayal. There is no strength in flesh, only weakness.
Flesh is weak.
There is no constancy in flesh, only decay. There is no certainty in flesh but death. Scion.
Like, you know, when you listen, when they say it like this, it's kind of true. I think becoming a mechanicus is very appealing when they put it like this.
Maximilian Vanderlyn the 23rd watched from the viewing gantry, fighting back a cough. Through the orange haze of industry, the workers were blurred, their borders indistinct, as if they were all organs of one horrendous creature named the Forge. The Scion's hair was slick with a layer of grimy sweat, perspiration pouring down his face. He glanced to his guide, the tech priest MIglesiasArt. The tech priest's upper face was replaced by rusting metal, 3 unblinking bionic eyes forming a triangle where her forehead should have been. Where the metal met her lower cheeks, the flesh was red raw and puckered, as if the skin rebelled against the intrusion of the machine.
Oh, damn.
Maximilian
yeah, that probably
hid a
happens.
frown. It was impossible to tell what the tech priest was thinking. There was no expression in her red eyes, no human gesture in her unmoving square pose. He glanced back to the scene below, his mind still protesting at the sheer numbers he saw.
I wonder how many humans die trying to undergo these procedures that are very intrusive, very dangerous. There's a probably high chance of dying, and not everybody makes it into a mechanicus. 99.9%. Nah, I don't think so. Millions? Holy crap. I wonder what the ratio is. Not nearly as many as if it were done today, but some. Just the weak die. Yeah. That's natural mechanicus selection. 3 out of 10 managed to become a Stardust, so we're talking about even less. Consider we're talking about normal. Yeah, normal humans. Yeah. It's not genetically enhanced, not mutants, not nothing, just like regular people. Damn, if I was a regular person in 40K, I think I would risk it all for a chance of becoming a mechanicosi or a V sister.
It was impossible to see the individuality in each independent part. Impossible to recognize the humanity in each blurred face. Just cogs of a gigantic machine, turning and clicking into rusted place.
The flesh is weak.
What? All 3 of MIglesiasArt's eyes were focused on the Scion.
What your organic brain cannot comprehend is but simple arithmetic to the blessed machine.
Maximilian chose not to rise to the contempt in the tech priest's voice. He steadied himself, resolving to show no emotion at all. He wasn't a fool.
Wait, but they just call your organic brain cannot comprehend. But if they're not allowed to mechanize their brain, then they all have the organic brain. Why are they talking?
This was not a world of the Imperium. This hellhole belonged to the Adeptus Mechanicus. This world belonged to Mars. The tech priest smiled, Her few remaining teeth were black and rotten, her gums bleeding pus.
Our tour continues, lordling of the Imperium.
She turned towards the descender lift, her red robes trailing dirt. Maximilian glanced to his father's seneschal, Gregorius. The old man still stared at the crowds below, his knuckles white where he gripped at the railing. When he noticed Maximilian's eyes upon him, he slowly turned, neither smiling nor grimacing. With the smallest of gestures, he nodded for the scion to follow the tech priest. Maximilian could feel the old man doddering behind them. MIglesiasArt placed a wrinkled hand on a red flashing cogitator rune, soothing it to a placid blue with a drone of incomprehensible binary. The descender lift shuddered into use, grinding through grime and soot as ancient cogs turned with creaking stiffness. Maximilian went to talk, but the noise of the descender lift was deafening, almost drowning out the maddening repetition of the Credo Omnissiah. He felt Gregorius's hand on his shoulder, the seneschal giving him a slight squeeze of support. Maximilian brushed him off with impatience. He was not a child anymore. He stumbled as the descender lift came to an abrupt stop. To his chagrin, both Gregorius and MIglesiasArt remained steady. Without a glance back, the tech priest walked on. She moved with a heavy limp. Maximilian wondered if it was due to debilitating injury, age, or ill-fitting bionics. In any case, it was impossible to tell beneath the bulk of her oversized, grubby robes. Maximilian thought he could hear the sound of straining bionics, but even that was a guess. The sound of machinery whirring and clicking and fizzing was constant, assaulting them from every direction as they moved through the forge. He smoothed down his regalia, wrinkling his nose at the black stains that soiled the crisp blue of his family colors. One can't help but get dirty here, he mused. Where are you taking us, tech priest? He asked.
You have seen the change of the shift, lordling of the Imperium. Typically, this is all your organic brains remember of these visits, but this is a weakness of the flesh. This unit endeavors to correct you. Now, this unit shows you the workings of the blessed machine.
Are the laborers not part of these workings?
A facile observation that rests upon linguistic equivocation. This unit predicts that you understand her meaning.
Oh my god, they think they're better than everyone else. They are so arrogant. Yes. Superiority complex. Yeah, they're very arrogant. Kind of annoying, honestly.
Maximilian felt Gregorius's hand on his shoulder again. He shot his father's seneschal an angry glance. I meant no offense, tech priest. I count myself fortunate to see the true workings of the machine. MIglesiasArt did not reply. They walked at a quick pace, despite the tech priest's omnipresent limp. MIglesiasArt took them through winding maintenance corridors, the walls tight and hemming them to single file. Something about the sudden shift from immense space to close quarters produced a mounting claustrophobia, which soon exploded into agoraphobia when they exited into a huge hallway. The scion took a deep breath, a stifling, dry heat burning at his throat. Humanity was not made to comprehend such impossible sizes. Meanwhile, Gregorius struggled to keep up. The old man wheezed and gasped, faltering by the minute. Tech priest, my companion tires. Perhaps we could arrange for transport.
The flesh.
The flesh is tired.
The tech priest did not amend her pace. In the maintenance corridors, they occasionally met another servant of the cult Mechanicus, a red-robed, shuffling figure that did not speak or look up as they pressed against the walls to let them pass. Maximilian remembered Gregorius's words before they had made the shuttle trip down to this inhuman, fume-clogged world. You will think them impolitic and oblivious, but do not be fooled, young master. The Mechanicus have turned their strangeness into an art form. Oh, they understand Imperial etiquette. They have weaponized it, using it as a bludgeon against us. Every rudeness is a test, designed to prove the weakness of our flesh. Do not fail their tests, Maximilian. What of human decency? Maximilian had asked. Are they not human? Uh-huh. They are human, yes. But they are Mechanicus first and foremost. I cannot conceive how such a society could persist, let alone thrive, to live without humanity or rules of conduct. It is a wonder that Mars does not collapse into anarchy. Oh, but they have their rules, young master. There is etiquette within the cult of Mars, every bit as complex and treacherous as in the Imperial Court. Some elements are obvious, to honor the machine, to praise the Omnissiah. But most is Martian mystery, quite incomprehensible to our own fleshy comprehension. Maximilian had snorted at that, earning him a harsh glance from the seneschal. Do not underestimate them, young master. The Mechanicus is dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Never let down your guard. Never rise to their bait. And always assume that they know what you're thinking. You make them sound as bad as the witches of the Telepathica. Yes, Maximilian, I do. The old...
This is honestly news for me because I've seen Mechanicus like portrayed in games and lore. All I knew about them is that they say flesh is weak. We pray to the Omnissiah, we praise him, and yeah, we're arrogant as f. But like here they make them sound almost evil. I didn't know this. I thought they were good boys. Okay, I know that everybody's but I guess they are more evil than normal evil, you know? They're out of the norm evil. There's no good guys. I know. It's always spectrum of evil. I just don't know where the Mechanicus are on that spectrum. Why are they crazy? They just don't like flesh, and they have their god, and they live on Mars. What's so crazy about that? They're mad? Oh, I didn't know this. I just thought they were super smart and, you know, kind of superior. Not for them, the Imperium would not be able to. Yeah, I mean, true. That's what I knew. That's about as much as I knew. I never knew about their, you know, personality traits. I'd never met a Mechanicus before. I just met Pascal in Rogue Trader, and that's it. But he was a good boy.
Seneschal was seriously lagging behind now. They had weaved through maintenance tunnels and huge metal caverns for almost an hour. The heat had steadily intensified, the moisture of Maximilian's flesh rising as steam. His skin felt dry and flaky. Eventually, the tech priest stopped. They stood before a giant doorway framed with peeling gold. Anki Gibel fell to her knees, her arms stretched out as she chanted a binary dirge. A ripple of animalistic fear chilled Maximilian's blood. His heartbeat sped. The hairs on his arms stood on end. A cold flush clashed with the unbearable heat. Maximilian didn't
I'm getting
understand
goosebumps
why,
too,
but
for some reason.
in Anki Gibel's dirge spoke to a primal part of his soul.
I'm sorry, Auntie Gavels. Sometimes the CC is so funny.
Some primitive, instinctual terror activated by the arrhythmic repetition of subsonic tones. Will you stop that, please? As soon as the words left his mouth, the door began to open. A great creaking scrape of metal against metal. It hissed as scalding air poured out, sending Maximilian reeling. As it yawned open further, the Scion could see hellfire within, blaring red-hot fire that reached high and licked at the blackened ceiling miles above. The Scion swayed, dizzy and blinded by the heat, nausea beating down on him, pressing through his eyes. He gasped, but found he could barely breathe. Through blurry eyes, he saw the tech priest silhouetted in a baleful halo of crimson fire. She turned, but Maximilian could not make out her features. Just the maddening triangle red of 3 bionic eyes. Maximilian choked. He was dimly aware of having collapsed to the ground, his palm searing against the burning floor. Intuitively, he slowed his breathing, applying the defensive techniques taught to him by Master Venomite Meltus. He was tempted to purge, but swallowed back his vomit. His heart rate slowed.
I was like, purging. I thought he meant purging, purging the heresy. Okay, purging the heresy from his stomach.
With every blink, he could see a little more, the tech priest appraising him. The legions of kneeling supplicants inside the chamber, the largest inferno he had ever seen, swallowing up the sky. As the air pressure stabilized, he could hear screaming.
Behold, the heart of the Forge Machine!
Maximilian forced himself to stand, the outer layer of flesh peeling from his palms. He gritted his teeth and forced himself to focus. If he squinted, he could see something around the flames, the glint of a force field straining to contain the immense fire. The blaze seemed to originate from a gaping cylindrical device in the ground, some mile across, and through strained eyes Maximilian could see that the rippling heat was thirstily lapped up by an identical aperture in the ceiling. Arn-Ki Gebel was grinning, even as her lower face blistered and peeled.
Life is directed motion. The spirit is the spark of life. Flesh is fallible, but ritual honors the machine spirit, and to break with ritual is to break with faith.
I don't understand.
The heart of the Forge Machine consumes an average of 0.023 million units a day. Through ritual and sacrifice, the machine spirit is honored and endures.
Maximilian examined.
Wait. Units of what? Excuse me? Was sacrifice? Wait, what? What's happening? I didn't like where this was going from the beginning. Now I like it even less.
His red raw hands. Human sacrifice!
Yes.
Pikachu!
Why did you show me this thing?
Face.
Correct the frailties of your
You are the
flesh,
sacrifice, sweetie.
of the Imperium, to help you understand.
This is an abomination! The tech priest was silent. Maximilian glanced over his shoulder, seeing Gregorius standing at a distance. Even though the old man avoided the worst of the heat, he looked haggard, his skin steaming with sweat, black smudges staining his face. The scion shook his head. I would like to leave, tech priest. As the tech priest led them away, Maximilian thought back on his conversation with Gregorius. He remembered frowning. If they are as bad as the witches, then why are they tolerated? For the same reason that the witches of the Telepathica are tolerated, young master. Because the god emperor needs them.
They're useful.
Maximilian had gone to scoff, but the old man had placed a hand on his wrist. Put such thoughts out of your mind, Maximilian. Forget any notion of common humanity or compassion. You cannot risk such luxuries here. Maximilian refocused. Arn-Ki Gebel had led them through another maze of maintenance tunnels and cavernous hallways, a blur of creaking gears and blackened cogs. The scion felt dizzy, his body struggling to cope with the abrupt shifts in temperature and space. His mind was groggy, his mouth horribly dry. With a twinge of alarm, Maximilian realized that Gregorius was nowhere to be seen. My father's seneschal.
This way, Lordling.
A blast of relatively cold air sent Maximilian tottering. He realized that he was in the spaceport, dozens of shuttles landing and taking off every minute, a maddening frenzy of constant motion. Servitors unloaded and refueled vessels, overseen by red-robed adepts. Heavily augmented pilots sat in their cockpits, fizzing wires connecting the top of their spines to blinking cogitators. Imports of human cargo marched out in chains, dragged along by towering Skitari.
Your shuttle is being prepared for disembarkment. Wait here.
Maximilian barely registered Arn-Ki Gebel's words. He staggered backwards, supporting his weight against a row of fuel barrels. The sky was full of buzzing insects. No, they were shuttles, swarming in concentric circles, waiting to land. The Scion blinked, getting out of the way as a heavy servitor stomped towards him, reaching for a fuel barrel with its servo arm. The servitor...
Well, okay, what kind of humans do they use for it? The Emperor's throne uses psychers. What does the Forge use? Just random humans, or maybe criminals or something? Maybe bad humans, or where do they take them? They also use anyone they can, like once Scadian refugees who were fleeing the destruction of their planet. Oh, okay, that's bad. Oh, that's super bad. They don't care. They don't care of your status. Bang, there'll be a servitor in a moment's notice. Make a mental note. In 40K, don't go to Mars. Very important, kids.
It was dwarfed by the barrel, but it shouldered the load without complaint. An ant lifting 10 times its own weight. The Scion watched it go, marveling at the scene.
Move, Imperial!
At a tech adept's warning, Maximilian dodged a line of trudging menials who dragged a huge, snaking fuel pipe. He went to apologize, but the tech adept simply walked on, directing his charges towards a shuttle double the size of the others. Maximilian stared, barely avoiding another crowd of workers coming in the opposite direction. He realized he had lost sight of where he was told to wait. There were so many people and machines milling about, obeying some profound order he couldn't fathom. Ugh! He tripped over a cable, sprawling to the ground. Instinctively, he went to catch his fall with his burned hands, letting loose a sharp hiss of agony from his parched lips. He groped at the floor, trying to find his wits and balance. A firm hand grabbed the back of his shirt and dragged him upwards.
His flesh is so weak.
Thank you. The Skitarii stared back. It had no face. Though
Skitarii.
Maximilian couldn't tell if what he saw were bionics or simply armor. A grated respirator for a nose and mouth. Red-tinged goggles for eyes, all shadowed by a heavy red cowl. It loomed over the Scion, bogged out in a carapace cuirass, its arms bionic and inhumanly strong. I seem to have lost... Wait.
My weight. My balance.
What are you doing? The Skitarii grabbed Maximilian's wrist, almost breaking the bone as it yanked him forwards into a line of chained men and women.
Oh, no!
Before Maximilian could fully process what was happening, he was manacled and being dragged with the others. Wait! No!
Oh,
this
no!
is a mistake!
No!
Wait!
You got the wrong
Listen to me!
human!
A rush of terror brought back Maximilian's wits as they approached the edge of the spaceport. He glanced wildly about, looking for someone that could help him. Everyone seemed utterly oblivious to his cries, but he tried anyway. Explaining, insulting, pleading. Tech priest! Tech priest! With a flood of relief, Maximilian saw Arn-Ki Gibel. He was suddenly glad of a distinctive triangle of eyes. Tech priest!
It's
Help!
me! Help!
Help me! Arn-Ki Gibel stared back at him impassively. No! Wait! Tech priest! Tech priest! As the doors to the spaceport closed behind them,
Aunt Gabelle! It's me! Help me! Auntie Gabelle couldn't give less.
Maximilian saw a satisfied grin spread across Arn-Ki Gibel's lips.
Oh, no!
Wait! No! Wait! He started to hyperventilate. Skitarii, please! Skitarii, I am not supposed to be here! I am a Lord Scion of the Imperium! I am... The Skitarii turned and delivered a sledgehammer uppercut to the Scion's chin. The blow was immense, slamming Maximilian's jaw onto his tongue and severing it in an instant. The Scion tried to scream, but only managed a gurgled cry of gushing blood. He vainly struggled, but he was hauled forwards, his tongue trampled by the line of people behind him. He could just about see it, pulped and abandoned on the grated floor. It was too much.
Please!
Maximilian
What the hell?
passed out. When he
Okay, he can't even talk anymore. He doesn't have no tongue. Okay, yeah, rip. Nobody's gonna recognize you now. Now you can't speak for yourself. I mean, they saw him. They were like, yeah. Get in line. Get in line into the forge. Into the forge you go.
he awoke, he was pinned upright to an X-shaped metal cross. The air was frigid, stinking of chemicals. The scion felt groggy. He could feel where the blood had dried against his chin, his severed tongue aching in a steady, dull pulse. Purple bruises blossomed over his body. After a few beats, Maximilian realized he was naked. He tried to free himself, but he was clamped in place, struggling against steel. Maximilian tried to calm himself. Some time had elapsed, enough time for Gregorius to reach the spaceport and ask the necessary questions. Damn that old man, he thought. If he had just accepted bionics for his legs, this would never have happened. He tried to look around, but his neck was clamped in place. From what he could see, the room was small, almost like a cell. Its walls were cluttered with medical apparatus, a servo arm clamp on one side, and a Medicae mechadendrite on the other. No one else seemed to be in the room with him. Gregorius will be here soon, Maximilian assured himself. It's almost over. He started as a door opened. A servitor gazed blankly at him, struggling under the weight of a curved metal plate. Behind was a tech adept. Maximilian moaned in fear. His voice sounded strange without his tongue. The servitor approached with faltering steps. It might have been female once. There was something feminine about the tuft of dead hair that reached down to its shoulders from the right side of its scalp.
Cute.
Either way, it did not respond to Maximilian's muffled pleas, slamming the metal plate into his chest with crashing force. The tech adept stepped forwards with an electro drill. Behind it, a line of servitors waited silently, carrying tools and bionics, gears and wires. Maximilian screamed as the tech adept drilled the metal plate into his body, feeling his skin corkscrew away as the nails were fixed to his shoulder blades and ribs. His vision swam in agony, returning to sharp focus as the wall-mounted medical mechadendrite injected him with a concoction of life-saving chems.
Wait, no, they're not throwing him into they're not sacrificing him. It looks like they're just upgrading him. They're installing cyberware or something. Cyberware. Yeah, I don't know what to call him, 40K. They're modding him, yeah. Upgrading. Okay. I thought that he's going to be mistaken for one of these people that are, for the sacrifice. Okay, they're gonna give you a new tongue, sweetie. Okay, don't worry. It's gonna pass soon. Yeah, new GPU.
He felt his blood swim from the holes the tech adept had made in him, running like lubricant between his flesh and the plate. Another servitor stepped forward, handing the tech adept an electro saw before bowing back. It buzzed into life, slicing through the skin of Maximilian's shoulder before finding resistance at the bone. The scion howled, fighting wildly against his restraints. The wall-mounted servo arm pinned him down as the left arm ripped away, his underarm skin tearing and giving way to a splatter of blood.
No sedation?
The next servitor entered, presenting a grubby bionic. The tech adept pinched at Maximilian's exposed nerve fibers.
Yes, I run out of pain
bone dust and
suppressants.
skin as the blood flowed in steady bursts. The medical mechadendrite injected Maximilian again as the tech adept reverently took the bionic arm, chanting to the Omnissiah as it unspooled wiring from the augment's inner workings. With delicate metal hands, the tech adept wove the wires around the nerve fibers and soldered them together. As
This is 50 Shades of Mech. Okay, this is crazy. On second thought, I don't think I want to become a mechanicus. If it's like this, if there's no sedation, if there's no painkillers, yeah, I don't know if I want it anymore. Thank you.
Maximilian shrieked. The tech adept fed the wires back into the bionic arm, positioned it against the scion's shoulder, and reached once more for the electro drill. Maximilian continued to howl. Some innermost portion of his mind urged him to speak, to tell the tech adept that there had been a mistake. But the pain was too great for him to manage anything.
Wait, are they
but
making a
screams.
servitor of him?
He stared with horror at the bionic arm as the medical mechadendrite applied another dose of stim. It was an ugly thing, too large for his frame, dragging him downwards against the clamps. It was a thing fit only for a menial wretch, a hideous, unspeakable thing.
Oh no.
He convulsed as aluminum charge spasmed through his body. He spat fizzing blood on his metal chest. The tech adept applied the electro sword to Maximilian's other arm. The sword bone left behind a white sheen of dust, shaded with crimson as his right arm tore away. Then the pinch. The white hot agony of metal against nerve fibers. The soldering. The drill.
They're making him a servitor. At first, I was like slightly happy for this bro. I was like, okay, don't worry. You're going to come out a better man. You're going to have a mechanical arm. Your flesh is going to be less weak now. But yeah, they're just making him into a servitor. But wait, they do something to servitor's brains as well. Why they didn't lobotomize him before doing all of this? This doesn't make any sense. Why make him suffer for nothing? Just lobotomize him and then do whatever the hell you want. Less fun that way. Oh my god, they're just payback. I mean, I guess. No, sedation is to see if it will have any rejection to the bionics.
Maximilian wheezed. Distantly, he realized he wasn't screaming anymore. His throat lacerated and useless. He tried to think. There was a name. Someone who might still come, but it was hard to think.
Oh, okay.
Hard to think past the pain and the animal part of his mind that screamed in tortured terror. It was like a secret. Something that might still save the Scion if he could only remember. A name. A name. The Scion was dimly aware of intense pressure against his torso. The tech adept was attaching metal girders to the plate, building an exoskeleton to support the immense, ungainly weight of Maximilian's bionic arms. A sharp pain in Maximilian's neck signaled another stim injection. Another spasm of aluminum sent him convulsing. He gaped down at his body, a scaffolding of bloody metal parts. Inhuman. Not his. Maximilian wanted to scream, but it hurt even to breathe. He suddenly had the absurd thought that this couldn't be real, that he was about to wake up, that this couldn't possibly be happening to him. Next, the tech adept took his legs. Shuffling servitors brought in the replacements, sooty, clunking things with exposed, rusted gears. Maximilian's eyes rolled back as the agony began anew. He didn't even notice when the tech adept castrated him with pincered calipers, his mutilated genitalia flopping limply to the blood-soaked ground. When it was finally over, another dose of stim jolted him into focus. The tech adept stood appraising him with cold green eyes.
Not the pee-pee.
The Scion could feel a tremendous weight dragging on his skin, a terrible new mass that pulled him towards the earth. He tried to look at the tech adept, but he could barely lift his head. He grunted, spitting blood as the tech adept reached out with a hand and took him by the broken chin, inspecting him like a prize grox. A thin, winding mechadendrite unspooled from beneath the tech adept's robes, uncoiling towards the Scion's face. This isn't real, Maximilian thought. This can't be. The thin mechadendrite burrowed up Maximilian's right nostril, finding the young Scion's frontal cortex. With a series of small snips, the tech adept severed the cortex from the rest of the brain, and Maximilian never thought in words again.
The unit apologizes. This is an abomination.
I want to see him.
As you wish.
Okay, now I get why it's called Abomination. Yeah, but okay, this guy didn't do anything. He just, he just talked. That's all. He didn't deserve this. As well as many, many others who are turned into servitors. Imagine that person was falsely accused or mistakenly turned into a servitor. I feel sick. Don't listen then. It's not real. Don't worry.
Seneschal.
Gregorius sighed, feeling it travel through his entire body. He felt every bit of his 200 years. Arn Ki Gebel had already told him the bad news. Not just bad news. a tragedy, a calamity. Lord and Lady Vandalin would be devastated. Gregorius was devastated. He felt tears on his face. He had told Lord Vandalin that the boy was not ready. The seneschal did not doubt that the young scion had made some mistake. The boy was too proud, too hot-headed, rushing off without the seneschal, allowing himself to be lured away by the Mechanicus. Who knows what Maximilian had said? Something had happened. The seneschal was certain of it. Anki Gibel seemed positively gloating. It was the most emotion she had ever shown him. The seneschal knew that the tech priest could have hidden her emotions if she'd wished. The half-aborted smile on her lips was meant to be seen. Beware the wrath of the Adeptus Mechanicus. As a courtesy, Anki Gibel had arranged transport to the servitization chambers. Gregorius knew that he should have fitted bionic locomotion years ago, but he'd always hated the idea. After all, he knew the creatures that would provide his augmentation. Monsters. He had tried to warn the boy. He had tried to warn him, but Maximilian had not listened.
I mean, yeah, he did warn him.
Lord Vandalin will not be pleased, Gregorius managed.
This unit understands, and shall offer compensation, Seneschal.
Compensation won't return him his son.
If Lord Vandalin would like, this unit will return to him his son.
Gregorius fell silent. He knew that the tech priest was baiting him.
Oh my god, they're gonna
Vandalin.
give them the servitor's son.
Message and the necessity of a messenger, Gregorius would already be dead. The Mechanicus does not fear imperial nobility.
Again, this unit apologizes.
Gregorius kept his voice level. Thank you.
They can read thoughts, even if you don't call them abominations in their face, but you think that they will know. This is why they're so salty, guys. This is why they're so angry. They know what humans think of them. What else would you think when you see something like this? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Tech priest.
Just this way.
They had separated Maximilian from the other new servitors, keeping him in the cell where they had disfigured him. The air was cold, formaldehyde stinging the seneschal's nostrils. Gregorius braced himself. Nonetheless, when the door opened, he fell into sobs. The boy's nose was swollen where lobotomizing mechadendrites had mutilated his brain. His mouth dribbled blood, his teeth cracked and broken. They had removed his scalp and affixed heavy blocks of metal, sending his head bobbing beneath the weight. Oh, God, Emperor! The servitor slowly lifted its head. They had left his eyes intact. The bright blue had dulled to a clouded milky ocean, but they were still undeniably Maximilian's eyes. The servitor groaned. It was Maximilian's voice, but it was slurred and mechanical. Maximilian, what have they done to you? Later, Gregorius would tell himself that it was a lie, a trick of his trauma, or of his own exhaustion, and yet in that moment he was certain of what he saw. The boy's
Wait, he didn't take him home?
blue eyes, misting with terrified tears.
Damn. Auntie Gabelle, no, Auntie Gabelle is a bitch. What the hell? I swear I thought they were going to upgrade him. This is so cruel. Like, I was asking at the beginning of the video, what's the general personality traits of your standard Mechanicus? I thought they were all right. I thought they just worshipped Omnissiah. They like toasters, and they don't like flesh. But I guess flesh are people, so they don't like people for that reason. And they don't mind doing all these things to them and making them suffer, turning them into servitors and stuff. Apparently, they're all assholes. I don't know. Is there a single good boy Mechanicus in the 40K universe? Okay. I want to read or watch a video about a good boy Mechanicus to kind of even out the, I don't know how to say this, even out my impression, because currently I like them. I used to like them. I know that everybody in 40K is evil up to some degree. But like this is terrible. This is a very, very, very sad video. But you know, it was great. It was great as always. The music, the voice acting made me feel really, really sad for Maximilian. People in chat were getting sick. I didn't know what to expect, and people wanted me to watch the Damon Kulaba lore video. Hello. What the hell? I understand how you guys feel watching somebody learning about Warhammer, experiencing it for the first time. Videos, lore videos, games, checking out books, trying out miniature painting, and soon, you guys, soon we're going to get into tabletops. Like, you are reliving those memories and that nostalgia through me. I totally get how you feel, and thank you for your support. It's been a journey. I enjoy it so much. Of course, it's my job as a content creator to do things, but you know, I don't do anything that I don't love, okay? And I'm so happy I found this. I always wanted to get into Warhammer 40K, but I was too scared because of how vast is the universe and how much lore there is in the, I don't know, in what, 40 years? 50 years. How long has Warhammer existed? For 40 or for 50 years? I thought I would never be able to catch up, but you know, little by little, baby steps, and with the support of the community, it's been a wild ride in a good way. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and a huge special thanks to our YouTube and Patreon supporters. This month, top supporters are Rotating Shake, Rain Batter, Duke, Alien Love Gardener, Systematic Chaos, Alex Jensen, Distinct Butter, Harley Dave, Luke Tinsley, Dean, Soledge, Greg, and Jim D. Thank you so much again for all your support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!